Happy Sunday night, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, coming to you for our Sunday night live stream fishing show. Hopefully, you guys are ready for a great show tonight. And I know I am. It's going to be another great Sunday night. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Gonna get this rolling on Facebook. Happy Sunday night, guys. Welcome to the live stream fishing show with Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. We have a great show lined up tonight. We've got tons of killer photos and lots of big fish to talk about. Lots of great fishing coming up here at Hubbard's Marina and awesome stuff going on. So we're going to talk all about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more tonight. This is our Sunday night live stream show. It's every Sunday night. Tonight is December 30th. Again, we're starting a little early tonight, letting some people join. If you're not watching this around 8:30 p.m. on December 30th, you're not watching it live, you can skip forward to where you see the video start. So if you're not watching it live, skip forward to where you see the video start. If you are watching this live, just bear with us, guys. Around about 8:35, we're going to roll this thing out and get to talking about all the big fish that we've been catching and all the great fishing that's been going on here at Hubbard's Marina. Got a lot of cool photos to show you tonight, and we're going to make a few phone calls, talk to Captain Anthony, talk to Captain Dave, Captain Frank, and hear what they have to say about all the great fishing that's going on and what's coming up here at Hubbard's Marina. Lots of great opportunities to catch fish. Gag grouper season is coming to a close, but we have hogfish, red grouper, scamp grouper, and a lot of other great opportunities and great fishing coming up here in the month of January. So we're going to start our new year off right, and that means more fishing. So again, if you're not watching this live, you can skip forward to where you see the video start. If you are watching this live, we're going to start in a few minutes here, guys. Make sure you click like on the video for us. Either way, watching live or not watching live, make sure you give the video a thumbs up or a like for us. Make sure you check out our page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like and share this video. Share it with your friends, share it with your favorite fishing club, share it on your timeline. Help us get some more people in here and spread the word about our Sunday night live stream shows. Again, we do these every Sunday night. This is a live Q&A fishing show. So not only are we going to show you what we've been catching, what we plan to catch, not only are we going to give you tons of fishing tips, tricks, and more, but we're also going to answer your questions. So hopefully you're ready for a great show tonight. It's going to be a good time, and we're going to hopefully help you catch more fish. That's the goal here, at least. And at the very least, you're going to get to see what we've been catching and what we're up to at Hubbard's Marina. So I appreciate y'all tuning in and spending your Sunday night with us. This is going to be about an hour-long show, and hopefully you can hang out with us and see everything that we have to offer tonight. We're going to talk to a few of the captains. We're going to show you all the big fish we've been catching. And we're going to get rolling here in just a few minutes. Just got to share this video around to my favorite fishing clubs and my timeline. And we'll get rolling. So hopefully you guys have some good fishing questions lined up. We always start the show off by talking about what we've been catching, what we've been doing. And then at the end of the show, we answer your questions. So please get some questions lined up for me, guys. I'd love to answer your questions and talk to you about what you want to hear about, because it's boring sitting here talking. So hopefully you guys want to have some questions for me, and I will be happy to answer them and hopefully help you guys learn some more about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more. And it's always a good time, guys. So make sure you comment where you're watching from, like the video, share the video. We're going to get rolling here in just a few seconds. Just got to share it around here. Let some more people join us for our 8:30 p.m. Sunday night show. Again, this is every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m., barring family events or travel. Most Sunday nights, I should say. Alrighty. I think I've got this going. I think I'm ready to roll. How about you guys? I know I see a lot of people in here, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. All right. How you guys doing? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming tonight and watching with me. And hopefully you guys will enjoy what we have lined up for you tonight. We have tons of great photos to show you. The gag grouper bite has just been insane. The hogfish bite is starting to pick up. Really, really cool to see all the great fish we're catching. We have gag grouper coming to a close December 31st. But then we have hogfish, we have scamp, we have red grouper, yellowtail snapper, mangrove snapper bite's been insane. Tuna bite's going well. So we're going to see a lot of great fishing come January, February, March, and into April. And then once we hit May, we have amberjack. June into the end of July, we're looking at probably close to a 60-day red snapper season. So lots of great stuff to talk about tonight. Hopefully you guys have some questions for me, and we're going to get to your questions here on the second half of the show. But first things first, let's show you guys what we've been catching. Now, today was an epic day of fishing. Like I said, gag grouper is coming to a close. So we have a lot of gag grouper trips running right now. And this is Captain Dave, one of our new captains. New to us, but definitely not new to fishing. And he got some monster gag grouper today. This one was just about shy of 30 pounds, a really big fish. Dave's not a short guy. That is a fat gag grouper for sure. Really, really cool fish, and that was just one of many. So the Flying Hub 1 had a 12-hour trip. They got a bunch of these fat gag grouper. The Flying Hub 2 today, they had a 12-hour trip. They caught 32 keeper gag grouper and had to throw 10 more back. So the Flying Hub 2 killed them. The Flying Hub 1 killed them. Our 10-hour all day today, Captain Frank's quote was, they set records today. That's how great the fishing was today. So definitely a good day on the water. The half-day fishing trip did well too. Captain Brian got them on some hogfish. The hogfish bites definitely picking up and should stay really good through this year. So looking forward to some great fishing action. But like I was saying, let's finish through Dave's photos here. Again, this is Captain Dave Singletary on his Flying Hub 1 private charter today. Some monster gag grouper. The bite on the gags was a little soft earlier this past week. I mean, today's Sunday, so this week, at the beginning of this past week, like Sunday, Monday, we were on the backside of that really big cold front. That really big cold front really stirred up the waters. So Sunday was our first day fishing, the Sunday before Christmas, and it was a little tough, a little slow. Monday, the water had cleared up a little bit, but it was still pretty slow. Tuesday was Christmas. We weren't fishing that day. Wednesday, Thursday, the water was really rough again with an east breeze. But by Friday, everything had Friday afternoon, Friday night, everything had calmed down. Saturday, Sunday, and we've been fishing hard. And the water has been really, really cleared up and has allowed us to catch big fish like this. This is another one of the grouper from Captain Dave Singletary's Flying Hub 2 trip today, or Flying Hub 1 private charter today. Monster gag grouper. Here's the clients showing off their limit of gag grouper and a few nice red grouper mixed in too. Some really happy guys there showing off their catch. They were a great bunch of guys. There's Captain Dave showing off a couple of the big gags. A little blurry, but you can see the size of those monster gags. Struggling to hold them up. That's a great sign. When the fish are so big, you struggle to hold them up and show them off. Definitely a cool fish. And look at the size of that gag. This is Captain Dave's big gag from the Flying Hub 1 today. True beast of a gag grouper. Hopefully you guys have something for the show. So more of the gag grouper from the Flying Hub 1. All in all, it was a really good trip today. They were fishing out there in the deeper water, and let's see if we can't get a hold of Dave and talk to him about his trip. Now, normally, you guys know I have the videos lined up for y'all, but unfortunately, this week was a little crazy with Christmas, so we didn't have the videos lined up for you guys, but we're going to make a phone call here.
Hello?
Hey, Captain Dave, we are live on the show. Wanted to talk to you about these crazy big gag grouper you caught today.
Oh, yeah. It was a good bite today.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, these things were monstrous. You guys were catching some big ones, huh?
Yeah, this was, it was finally after the storm, the Flying Hub 1, is a fair weather boat, and today was perfect conditions to get out there where I wanted to get. And some of these spots that I used to get some 30, 40, 50-plus pound gags, and I was excited to get out there before the season closes, and it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It was worth the trip. As soon as we got out there, they just fired off, and it was like that all day.
Yeah, these are some big, big fish. What was the hot bait today?
I used different baits today. We had a lot of live pinfish, so a few of us sent some pinfish down. We sent some double deans down. Some guys were jigging. The very first gag to come up, he was about 15 pounds. That was on a jig, and then I got one on a pinfish, and then the gentleman next to me got them on double deans. So they were hitting everything, and then the big ones that came up were actually on some butterfly fish.
Cool, cool. Now, when you say a jig, what kind of jig were they using for this monster gag?
Yeah, they brought a couple diamond jigs, and I'm always a fan of jigs because before I anchor and I'm looking around for where the fish are sitting on some of these structures, I like sending jigs down to see if I can get one of those impulse bites. And every spot we went on, as soon as they dropped the jig, they just fired off on them.
That is really, really cool. I mean, some big fish. So were they kind of bouncing those diamond jigs off the bottom?
Yeah, they were. They kept them on the bottom. They didn't bring them like we would do with amberjack, where we kind of, bring them up to the surface. They kept them right on the bottom. But literally today, the bite was so hot. As soon as any type of bait or any jig hit the bottom, it didn't sit there 2 seconds. It was immediately struck. And we were way out there today. So, we only had about 4 hours of fishing time. And the whole 4 hours, we were big scamp, big red grouper, big gags the whole time.
Nice, nice. Well, very cool. We're looking forward to the beginning of this next year. We got plenty of hogfish action right now. And you're excited for, obviously, this was cool to get the last little bit of the gag grouper action here. But we're looking forward to the hogfish. And I know you have been catching a ton on the hub, right?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot on the hub, and so I'm excited to get back after them. We got some deep drop trips coming up. I got a 15-hour on Tuesday. Looking forward to get out there and get some of those yellow edge and snowies and stuff. So a lot of different species of fish we'll be targeting now with the gags closing down. So it's going to be real exciting.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, now that gags are closed, not only do we have the nearshore fish like the hogfish, the scamp, the red grouper, but you can always do one of those deep drops on that fancy Flying Hub 1 and get out there on a 15-hour trip and go get those big snowies and yellow edge and stuff. That's a good point. Didn't even think of that.
Yeah, the deep drop's a lot of fun. A lot of kitty Mitchells out there and snowies and barrels and a lot of species that some people might not be familiar with, but they're big fish, and it's still an extreme trip and a lot of fun to try it if they haven't tried it before.
Well, very cool, man. I appreciate your time, Captain Dave, and thanks for sending these photos over of these monster gags for tonight's show. And I appreciate it, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
You got it. Tight lines, everybody.
See you, Dave. Well, very cool, guys. Like Captain Dave said, we still got plenty of fish coming up. In 2019, gags might be coming to a close tomorrow night, but we still got plenty of fish to catch. Whether you're fishing near shore for the hogfish, you're going a little deeper for the scamp and red grouper, or you're going way out there for a deep drop trip on the Flying Hub 1, there's great opportunities for big fish, that's for sure. So now we're going to show you some of the photos from some of the other trips. Our half day and all day trips have been doing really well right now. This is actually a half day catch right here that Captain Frank is showing off. That is a nice hogfish and a nice keeper gag for a 5-hour half day party boat trip. So really, really cool to see those nice big old gags. We're going to see if Captain Frank is around and not too indulged in his adult beverages yet. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Frank? You're on the show. How you doing tonight?
I'm live on the air?
You are live on the air, sir, so don't cuss.
That's awesome. I won't be cussing. I'm making my first attempt at a tuna poke bowl at home.
Oh, yeah, you love that Pokey Rose place, don't you?
I sure do. It's a really great place.
Shameless plug.
I'm trying. I want to eat more, but it gets costly unless you can do it yourself. So it's going through a learning experience.
Well, we have January and February coming up. We should have an opportunity to get our own fresh tuna here, right?
That's right. I had to spring for this yellowfin, and it cost me a pretty penny for a big hunk of it. But, yeah.
So we wanted to talk to you about what you guys been catching lately. I'm showing some of the photos from the recent trips, seeing a lot of hogfish, even some keeper gags on the half day, and we're starting to see a lot of flounder too, huh?
Yeah, we got a really nice one today. I would guess he was probably in the 22-inch range, which was, definitely a good looking flounder for sure.
Yeah, so how this photo I'm showing folks is not the 22-inch flounder he's talking about. This was from a half day today, but definitely some nice flounder we have been seeing on the party boats and the hub. Been seeing some big flounder this time of year, but the hogfish bite's picking up now, and it's only going to get better, right?
Well, yeah, that's right. We had a great trip today. We started off super slow, as we have the last 3 or 4 trips. Where we had a really tough bite till 10 o'clock, which is weird because normally people think fishing, hey, the AM bite is going to be the best, and it slacks off in the middle of the day. And lately, man, it's been totally opposite. At least for me, we didn't have a fish in the box. On our third stop, not a fish in the box today. And then our fourth stop, it just lit up at 10 o'clock. They just started feeding. We, hammered out a bunch of mangroves and four really nice big male hogfish and, some gray snappers to start. And we were in kind of shallow, the 55-foot range. Then we worked our way out deeper and started, getting on some lanes and vermilions. We got a really nice gag grouper and lots of shorties, probably 30 short gags today. And it was a fun day. We really had a good time today. I mean, we smacked the fish. Thankfully, thank God, we had a party of 15 that caught over 200 fish themselves, and they rolled out with their fish, and we didn't have to clean them. We were all beat at the end of the day, and they took them with them. We were very happy.
Yeah, you guys, so it seemed like the gag bite Nearshore was a little bit tough today. Offshore, some of the faster boats did really well, but Nearshore, the gag bite was a little tougher in that shallower water in that 50 to 80-foot range. But out there past 80, 90, 100 foot, that's where gags were kind of chewing today. But you guys made up for it with, you guys got mangrove snapper, lane snapper, vermilions, and then these hogfish too, huh?
Yeah, for sure. We got a real nice handful of everything. It was just that second part of the day. Like I said, we went 3 stops with 60 people and no fish. And they're all over the screen, and we couldn't get a porgy to bite. I'd never seen anything like it. And then wham, it just turned on, and we had probably the last 3 hours of fish. It was just insane. It was just, we had a lack of, bigger like gags, but other than that, the hogfish were big, the mangroves are big, we got some really nice strawberry groupers, which people some people may laugh at those little guys, but I'll tell you what, that's the best eat in the Gulf. Don't pass those up.
Yeah, those strawberry grouper to me, at least, are definitely in my top top 3 or top 5 favorite eating fish. The smaller ones are just so good. It's crazy how good those fish are.
Yeah, for sure. I just like to even just feel the meat after you fillet them. You're like, wow, it's literally like 2 or 3 times the like what a scamp feels like with that. It's like a good oil, if that makes any sense. It's like a good oily feeling, not like a kingfish. But yeah, it's killer. What are you talking to me for, man? You got to talk. What about Dave and Anthony, man? Those guys hammered some big gags. You already talked to them?
I just talked to Dave. We're just looking through the photos here, and your photos were next in line. Anthony's coming up next, so we'll give him a shout, see if he's not already at home with the kids. But yeah, Dave did crazy good on the Flying Hub 1. There were some monster gags, huh?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he definitely got some nice gags. Anthony, I don't think they're some pretty close to each other, at least size wise that I saw. But yeah, Anthony limited out plus threw back, was throwing back gags. So yeah, those guys were the stars of the show as far as the big dogs go today. But quantity wise, we definitely got some fish in the box. I mean, we had coolers outside of our fish box that we were filling up because we're running low on room.
It's a good problem to have, and that's kind of the stark. Yeah, that's kind of the stark difference between those private charters and the party boat. I mean, the party boat, you got more people on board. You definitely got a lot of quantity. But those quality fish, I mean, you got 20, 30, 40, 50 lines in the water. It's really difficult to get a quality fish to A, bite, and then B, to land it. Whereas those fast boats are able to get out there to where we fish on a 39-hour and do a day trip. It's kind of hard to compare, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I couldn't say there's not a part of me that's jealous, and I'm not out 70, 60, 70 miles fishing, on a boat that's out there. I mean, that's everybody wants to be doing that. If you got the time to get out there and do that, I highly recommend. You're going to catch some big trophy fish. Even with the seasons that the FWC gives us, which there's pluses and minuses. I can see where they're coming from with a lot of it, but you want to get out there and catch a trophy fish. I mean, to me, anybody can take a certain dollar amount that they spend on a fishing charter and go to the store and buy grouper or snapper with, and get their money worth if you look at it that way. But it's about the experience, and if you can go out there and enjoy the experience, and go out there and catch a monster red snapper and a monster grouper and take a photo with them. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about. I mean, if you're just trying to get, your money's worth of fish, on a particular trip, I mean, if you want to guarantee, go to the grocery store. But if you want a memory, if you got to throw something back because it's out of season, take a picture and enjoy what you're out there doing.
Amen to that, man. Well said, yes, Captain Frank. Well, I'll let you get back to your poke bowl.
I am. I gotta go chill my edamame beans.
I'll let you go there, Chef Gordon.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll talk soon.
See you, Frank.
Later.
Oh, it cracks me up every time. Well, that was Captain Frank Batchelor. He ran our 10-hour all-day trip today. The photos I'm showing you over here, guys, are from our recent half-day fishing trips with Captain Frank. But his 10-hour all-day today did very well. Some big mangrove snapper, lane snapper, vermilions, and tons of them. Unfortunately, struggled with the gags a little bit. Did get a keeper gag, but unfortunately just one of them. The bite near shore on the gags just wasn't happening like it was out in deeper water, at least in our area. Up to the north in the shallower waters, anywhere from like Hernando all the way up to Apalachicola, they're catching gags in 8, 9, 10, 12 foot of water. And the bite was really, really hot today. In our area, the gag bite definitely, you had to go a little bit further, get out there a little bit deeper, unfortunately. But they did catch plenty of fish on the 10-hour all day, and also the half-day trip today as well. So Captain Frank mentioned it earlier about Captain Anthony's Flying Hub 2 trip today. We're going to show you a few of the photos from that Flying Hub 2 extreme trip today that caught a boat limit of gag grouper. That's 32 keeper gag grouper on the Flying Hub 2 today. Crazy extreme trip. They did very, very well. Limited out the entire boat and had to throw more gags back. So 32 keeper gag grouper on the Flying Hub 2 today. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you like the video for us, share the video for us. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, and let's look through what Captain Anthony caught today on the Flying Hub 2. A really nice gag grouper there from Eric Deskins over there in Tampa. A really, really good angler. Him and his family were out fishing on the Flying Hub 2 today, and they did very well on the gags. We're going to see if Captain Anthony is available, but he's got kids, so he might be a little bit busy with his kids, but we'll give him a ring and see if he can talk to us about those 32 keeper gag grouper he got today. And we'll look through some of his photos. Look at all those gags laying around. There's Richie pulling all the gags out. Hey, Anthony, you're live on the show. How you doing, man? You got a minute?
Yeah, I got a minute.
Did I wake you up? You got another trip at 5 a.m. and I'm calling you at a late night?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, man, I appreciate you taking the phone call here. Everybody wants to hear about those 32 gag grouper you caught today.
Yeah, it was good. The first, as soon as we pulled up to the first stop, we had 12 in the box and starting to catch a bunch of big mangoes. We ended up with like 20 big mangoes off that spot. Red snapper going crazy. Moved to the next spot, and a couple of our regular guys dropped down bigger baits. We had 2 live grunts and 2 champagne porgies. Dropped them down, got big gags off of it, and one guy broke off 120. So
That's a big fish.
Good it was good all day. Steady picking, no boats in sight at all. Then again, couldn't see anything with the fog.
No boats you could see, right?
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate it. Sorry to bother you. I realize you got to wake up early again tomorrow and go after and catch another 32 gags. So I'll let you go, man. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
All right, man. Appreciate the call.
See ya, Anthony. So they destroyed them on the Flying Hub 2. These photos are a little small because Anthony got off the boat and I had to rush him to send me the photos. So unfortunately, we don't have the full resolution photos yet, but we will soon. Definitely some big gag grouper there. I mean, some monster fish on the Flying Hub 2 today, and 32 of them in total. Some big mangroves being caught out there as well. We're seeing lots of hogfish on the half-day and all-day trips. Some really good fishing right now at Hubbard's Marina, from gag grouper to hogfish to whatever you want to catch. We got a trip for you to go get them. Plus, once gag grouper close, we have tons of opportunity for deep drop fishing with Captain Dave on the Flying Hub 1, Captain Anthony, Captain Joe, myself, Mark, whatever you want to do. We got a trip for him. The hub has been doing very well near shore, so hopefully we get him again tomorrow. We got another couple gag grouper trips left in us tomorrow before these gags close up. But all in all, it's been an amazing gag grouper season. Tons of fish and plenty of them. These gags have been biting on anything from the big live baits to the butterfly baits to the double thread fins. We've been getting a few kingfish here and there, but the kingfish are definitely starting to slow down now that the water's been getting cold. We're going to see the tuna take the place of kingfish. Those blackfin tuna start to show up this time of year, and we get a really good push of blackfin tuna action. So we're looking forward to the blackfin tuna. Here's another one of those big flounder we've been catching. The flounder bite is really good through the spring. We see a lot of flounder, especially when you're out there fishing a small ledge or something. The boat will swing off that ledge from time to time with the current change in direction or wind change in direction, and that's where we see those flounder. But you can target flounder near shore by anchoring up adjacent to some of those artificial wrecks, especially the public artificial wrecks. You can find some sandy bottom right alongside of those artificial wrecks, and a lot of times alongside of those artificial wrecks is where you're going to find some seriously big flounder. because those that sandy bottom adjacent to the wrecks holds so much bait. Those flounder really seem to get excited and hang out there, and almost seem like they breed there or something. So very, very cool stuff to get out there and get those big doormat flounders this time of year. So it's a great opportunity to go fishing, needless to say. But that's what we've been catching. If you didn't catch it, that's what we've been catching. And I did want to make sure that you guys know about the upcoming seminar. If you guys enjoy these shows, make sure you like and share the video, and hopefully subscribe to our YouTube channel. But if you want to come do it in person, coming up January 12th, we have a seminar at Bass Pro Shops. And at our Bass Pro Shops seminars, we actually give away free fishing trips. So if you want to come join me in person, you could win a 5-hour half day for 2 or a 10-hour all day for 2. All you have to do is come put up with me for an hour at Bass Pro Shops coming up January 12th. Hopefully we'll see you there. So that's going to be a great seminar. Hopefully you'll enjoy that too. And don't worry, if you miss it, we always film them and we put them on our website at hubbardsmarina.com under fishing trips. You can scroll down and see the Bass Pro Shop seminars if you ever miss one. So we always keep them online for you. So hopefully you guys have some questions lined up for me. Don't forget to ask your questions in the comments below, and we're going to start answering your questions and seeing what questions you guys have. Hopefully we can help you answer some fishing questions for you. So let's see what we got here as far as the questions are concerned. I'm going to try something new tonight and see if I can't pull up all my chats. And no chat shows up. So we're going to answer them normal way. All right, so on YouTube, let's see. Sean Kelly asked, what is a goo? You must be looking at our specialty trip schedule where we only have a certain amount of room to describe what we catch on certain trips. And a goo is short for a goozer or a mangrove snapper. Mangrove snapper are very good eating fish, and we catch a lot of them on our 39-hour trips, 44-hour trips, 12-hour night snapper trips, and even our 12-hour extreme trips. You got a shot at them on 10-hour all days and sometimes even 5-hour half days. Right now, the mangrove snapper or the goo bite is going very well. Even nearshore, we're seeing a lot of mangrove snapper. Captain Joe on the hub the other day brought in a 5-hour half day on the hub that had over a dozen nice keeper mangrove snapper, all caught on smaller pinfish and some cut up threadfin. So the mangrove snapper bite near shore in 60, 80, 90 foot of water all the way out there to the deeper 120, 140 foot areas is really good right now. And we see really big mangrove snappers. So we're enjoying great mangrove snapper or goo fishing. And that's what it stands for, Sean. So let's see what other questions. Sean also asked, is spring or fall amberjack fishing better? Amberjack fishing is always better in the winter time, unfortunately, but they're only open May, August, September, and October. So October is a great time for the amberjack, but we do catch them really well in May as well. So May or October would be my favorite times for amberjack. Keep in mind the fishing season or the fishing year for amberjack starts August 1st. So the quota closures could occur in May. So our fishing season for amberjack is May, August, September, and October, but by regulatory definition, it's August, September, October, and then May of the next year. So if this fall it's determined that we overfished the quota or landed more amberjack than they wanted us to, there's a chance that the May 2019 component could be cut short a little bit. I'm thinking it probably won't be, but I haven't seen the landings yet and I don't know. So at the January meeting, we should see some landings and have an idea. And then definitely in February, March, at the April meeting, we'll have a really firm grasp on if we're going to have an amberjack season change, being as though expecting a quota closure in May. But amberjack season is supposed to be May, August, September, October. It's pretty much guaranteed August through October. But if we exceed or we catch a lot of amberjack and that quota gets reached, that following year's May season could be affected. So that's what I'm trying to explain, Sean. So definitely I would prefer, out of the months that amberjack is open, I would prefer May or October. But you're gambling a little bit in May just because of the fact that it may close early. In May, it may close early. That's funny. Junior G said, any kings out there? We are seeing a few kingfish from time to time, but kingfish really like water temperatures anywhere from about 72 to 73 degrees, all the way up to about maybe 76 to 77, even 78 degree water temperatures. And right now our water temperatures are in the low 70s, very low 70s. So kingfish hang around all year out there in that deeper water where the water temperature stays more temperate and stays more average. But near shore, they kind of disappear in the winter time of Florida, and then in the summertime, when it gets super hot near shore, they kind of disappear again. But definitely tend to see them more from spring to fall. Definitely spring and fall are the best times for those kingfish. Let's see what other questions we have. Guys, don't forget to comment your questions and comment where you're watching from. Tell us where you're watching from, and let us know how you enjoy the show. Let's see what other questions we have here. What's biting on the trolling runs right now? Well, we haven't been trolling too much, man. We've been doing a lot of those long range trips, but they've all been on our faster boats. We haven't been trolling much. We troll mostly on our 5-hour half days in the spring and fall when kingfish and mackerel are thick. And then we also troll on our 39 and 44-hour trips all year round. But we haven't had a 39-hour trip since the very beginning of December. Our next 39-hour trip is coming up January 4th. That's this coming Friday. We're very excited for our 39-hour trips to start up again. And this coming Friday's 39-hour trip has a super light load. And I'd imagine the trolling is going to see kingfish, tuna, and then possibilities of other species, but the tuna and kingfish are probably going to be the most common. The kingfish we're probably not going to see until we're further offshore. The tuna, I would imagine we're going to start catching a ton of those on the troll and on the flat lines during our January and February 39-hour trips, especially around the new and full moon. The tuna action in January and February on the 39 and 44-hour trips are just incredible. We catch a lot of them for sure. So looking forward to that. I can't pronounce the name, but they asked, how is the fishing in March? March fishing is good as long as the weather is good. From September until March, you never, a lot of people ask, how's the weather in September? How's the weather in October? How's the weather in November, December, January, February? It doesn't matter what I think and what I say, because from September to around March and even into April, sometimes we have these cold fronts and we have these high pressures and they play tug of war. And as long as you catch that weather window between the cold front and the high pressure, the weather is gorgeous and the fishing is great. But we can have March and April's where super high pressure sets in and it's just blowing 20, 25, 30 knot winds for long stretches of periods. Or we have these late season bad to the bone cold fronts that really makes the weather nasty and the fishing nasty too. But it depends on the weather. If the weather is good, March fishing is some of the best times for hogfish. We see a lot of tuna. We see a lot of red grouper action and scamp grouper action. So a yellowtail snapper start to pick up, mangrove snapper. So March fishing is great, especially for those hogfish, but it really just depends on the weather. The weather's got to be nice for those fish to chew. So we'll see how the March fishing is in 2019 based on the weather. Sean Kelly said, is red snapper season best in early June or later July? Well, red snapper is only open for about 60 days for federally permitted for hire vessels in 2019. So because of that, a lot of people want to get out there and go get them. So at the beginning of June, those fish haven't been harvested for 10 months. So in the beginning of June, they're everywhere. They're big. Anybody can catch them, and you can catch them on anything. By the end of July, these fish have had constant pressure, super high amounts of fishing effort. So by the end of July, they're a little bit more picky. They're a little bit more leader shy, and they're a little bit more spread out. So definitely, if you want to go after big red snapper and lots of them, you want to book early and book often. Definitely want to shoot towards the more beginning of red snapper season. But even at later July, we're still catching plenty of red snapper, and we're still catching big ones, and we still have no problem limiting out on most of the trips. But for red snapper, you hands down want to avoid the 12-hour day trip. You want to shoot for the 12-hour extreme trip, the 39-hour, the 44-hour, the 12-hour day trip sucks. It's basically a half-day fishing trip for red snapper. It's the shortest amount of fishing time, the shortest amount of fishing distance from shore. Basically, the only reason we offer a 12-hour day trip is because people don't want to pay the $300 for a 12-hour extreme or the $369 for a 39-hour trip. But a 39-hour trip, you get a 2-day bag limit and 20 hours of fishing. And on a 12-hour extreme, you're fishing out where the 39-hour fish is, and you're still home by dinner time. So you're 70 to 100 miles out, and you get 7 hours of fishing time. So you can't look at our photos online and our website and say, I'm going to catch that fish, and I'm only going to pay $120 and do it on a 12-hour day trip. It's not going to happen. The 12-hour day trip only fishes about 40, 50, 60 miles from shore. You only get about 3 to 4, maybe 5 hours of fishing time at most. The 12-hour extreme goes literally 3 to 4 times faster offshore. You get literally twice the amount of fishing time, and you're a lot further from shore, almost 3 times further. The 39-hour trip, you get almost 10 times more fishing time, and you get a 2-day bag limit. It's just definitely want to shoot. If you're looking for red snapper, you want to do a 39-hour, 44-hour, or 12-hour extreme, or a 8, 10, or 12-hour private fishing charter with us on the Flying Hub 1, Flying Hub 2, or the Hub. And if you want red snapper, you gotta book now. Red snapper season is filling up already. The beginning of June, a lot of those 39-hour trips don't have much room left. A lot of private charters are getting booked for the first couple weeks of June. So if you want to get out there and get some red snapper, you better start booking now for sure. Let's see. What, as Sean Kelly said, what is the average size of the red snapper caught? Does a 39-hour trip target red snapper? Yes, definitely. For red snapper, again, 12-hour extreme, 39-hour, 44-hour, hands down, best options for the public trip, or an 8, 10, 12-hour trip on the Flying Hub 1 or Flying Hub 2, or a 12-hour trip on the Hub, or a 12-hour trip on the Mrs. Hub. Or on the Mrs. Hub, you can do longer range trips. You can do a 39-hour charter, a 44-hour charter with 6 guys. That Mrs. Hub, that 60-foot Hatteras, that is fishing in style for sure. So a lot of private charter options or the public trips as well. Let's see here. What's the best way to catch tuna other than trolling? Other than trolling, the best way to catch tuna is 2 different ways. You can vertical jig for those tuna, or you can flatline for those tuna. Flatline fishing just means simply letting out a live bait or a dead bait out over the water with no weight on it, or maybe possibly a balloon on it, depending on the conditions, whether the current or the wind is blowing, blah, blah, blah. But flatlining is the way to go. Just put that bait out there. You're bottom fishing, you're fishing for grouper, snapper, or whatever else is on the bottom. That flat line is sitting up on the surface, and if that tuna swims by, he's going to hit that flat line. So three methods to catching tuna. You got trolling, flatlining, or vertical jigging. I really like those flutter jigs, especially at night. You can get those glow-in-the-dark flutter jigs and work that top half of the water column, and you have a good opportunity for tuna, or you're flatlining, or you're trolling for tuna. Those are the three methods that we use the most often. Another question was trying to find out what the best time of year for a 39-hour trip is. Really good question, and that totally is up to you. What do you want to catch? If you want amberjack, they're only open May, August, September, and October. So those are the best times to go. If you want red snapper, they're only open in June and July. So those are the best times to go. Gag grouper open June 1st through the end of the year. That's the best time for gags. So it really is up to you. What do you want to catch? That's going to dictate what time is best for you to do that 39-hour trip. To me, every time is a good time to go because every time of the year has a different, unique aspect to it. January and February, we have tons of big mangrove snapper. The tuna bites going well. The boats are super light. I mean, 20, 30 people at most. Nobody's around, super light loads, more one-on-one time with the captain and crew, tons of room on the boat, and great tuna, great mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, some big vermilions, a lot of action, and nobody's around. And then you come into March, April, people start showing up, get a little bit busier with spring break. The hog fishing's going good. We're still catching mangroves. We're seeing a few yellowtails, still seeing some tuna, maybe some kingfish showing up on the longer range trips. Red grouper, scamp grouper all the way through January and all those times. We have the deep water red grouper and scamp grouper closure. So we're fishing in a little shallower in February and March during that 20 fathom closure. And then we come into May, where amberjack open, the transitional period towards the end of April, early May. Really great time to go fishing in those transitional periods around April, May, and then again around September, October, November, whenever those weather patterns are changing. In the spring, it's changing from cooler weather to hotter weather. In the fall, we're changing from hotter weather to cooler weather. And that transitional period gets fish moving, bait moving, everything gets excited. So I really enjoy those transitional periods. Everybody and their brother enjoys summertime because of red snapper season and the kids are out of school. But if you want to get out there and you don't want anybody else on the boat with you, January, February is the time to go because no one is out fishing in the area. I mean, literally January 4th is our first 39-hour trip of the year. You would think it's really busy. There's 24 people on it. So just enough to go, super light load, great opportunity if you want some one-on-one time with the captain and crew and you want to pick Will's brain and you want to catch a lot of blackfin tuna, have a shot at some scamp and red grouper, and have a shot at definitely limiting out on some big mangrove snapper. So hopefully that answered your question. Let's see what other questions we have here. Remember, guys, don't forget to comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to comment with your questions. I want to try to answer everybody's questions, but sometimes I miss them. So if I haven't answered your question yet, feel free to comment again. And if I don't get to it through the show, I'll definitely make sure to answer it in the comment section. Let's see. Emmanuel Fuertes said, the best grouper I caught with you guys was 55 pounds. That's a monster, man. That's definitely a big one. Let's see here. Pretty heavy fog this morning, heading out on a private boat without radar. Unfortunately, it was very heavy fog, and it is very heavy fog this time of year. It's super, super cold water temperatures. Water temperatures are in the low 70s. Air temperatures are hitting the low 80s now. So the air is warmer than the water, and we have this dense sea fog roll in. And this morning was dangerous because it was nice and clear, 5:36, 7 a.m. About 7:30, 8 a.m., this fog bank rolled in and just socked us in with fog. Super dangerous to be running in a private boat at 20, 30, 40, 50 knots without radar. And unfortunately, this morning, there was a parade of boats leaving Johns Pass, many of them being 18, 20, 21, 22, even 25-foot boats that did not have a radar arch or a radar spinning up. So it's definitely a little worrisome, but it looks like, and it sounds like, I haven't heard anything at least, that everybody made it home. So definitely want to slow down in the fog if you don't have the radar. And it's tough to slow down when you're trying to run fast offshore. So glad you guys made it back safe, Jason Wilton, but definitely need to get some radar. On our boats, we have radars on every vessel for that fog reason. Also, something really unique that is kind of new to our generation is there's this thing called AIS. You can purchase AIS, put it on your vessel, and then you can download an app called Maritime Traffic. It's like $2 or $3 or $4, and you can see every boat in the entire world with AIS on it, and it's a live tracking system. Vessels greater than, I forget the exact length. I think it's vessels greater than 65, 70, or 75 foot. They have to have AIS. So those big ships coming in and out of the Port of Tampa, the big, can't think of the word, the boats that tow other boats around, dang, I can't think of the word, but they pull the barges and they push the ships. They have them, so whenever you have those big tows going up and down the beaches, you can see those on AIS. And it's nice because even if you have a 20-foot boat or a 25-foot boat, if you have AIS on your boat, those big ships and those big tows can see you. So that's a great opportunity if you are planning to run around at high speeds at night or tugboat. That was what I was trying to think of. Thanks, Frank Sarko. So those tugboats are pulling barges with this 1 or 2 inch cable, and a lot of times they're 100-yard tows when they're offshore, especially out in the middle grounds. We see it a lot. You have a tugboat pulling a barge, and that barge can sometimes be 100, 200 yards away from the tug, and that cable is the only thing connecting them. You go through that thing going 30 knots, 40 knots, you're going to kill somebody or yourself. So that AIS is great to have on your boat because those tugboats can be like, hey, dummy, I've got a big cable between me and this thing behind you if you didn't see my lights. And they'll call you on the radio and warn you. So really, really cool opportunity there to put some AIS on your boat. So not only can you pull up AIS and see other boats, but the other boats can see you too. So that's in addition to radar. You can actually overlay your AIS on your radar. We don't have that on any of our boats yet, that AIS, but definitely thinking about purchasing it since we already have to have VMS or vessel monitoring in October 2018. Every party boat and charter boat has to have vessel monitoring systems where we are tracked. Our every movement is tracked and reported to National Marine Fisheries to validate our effort in the fishery. So if we're already getting tracked by National Marine Fisheries, throw an AIS on there too. You can shut off the AIS while you're fishing because that's public. AIS is public to everybody. It's an aid to navigation. So you can shut it off when you're fishing so no one can track you to your fishing spot. And then you can turn it back on when you're transversing or navigating channels. In my opinion, it would be really good on a day like today when it's super foggy and you're running out southwest and you have to cross that shipping channel. Too many times I've been out there in the fog and I hear fog horns and you don't know where that 300-foot freighter is. With AIS, you would know. So maybe think about getting that too, Jason, in addition to your radar. Definitely would help you sleep a little bit better in that beanbag. So what other questions do we have here? Mike Hart said, are you running any trips on Tuesday? Tuesday, we have a 10-hour all day, but it's looking a little light right now. I'm hoping we get enough people to go, but I don't know how many people are going to be willing to wake up and come down and join us at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. But we do have a 10-hour all day Tuesday. We have a 5-hour half day Tuesday. And we have a 39-hour trip coming up this Friday. We've got 12-hour extreme trips on Wednesday and Sunday. So great opportunities to go fishing this coming week at Hubbard's Marina. As far as the weather goes, we haven't talked about that at all tonight. Let's take a peek here, hubbardsmarina.com. Once you're at our website, you can go to fishing trips, scroll down to weather links. At our weather links page, we have all the different links that I use to check the weather, and we're going to take a peek at the long-range buoy or the offshore buoy. This is the St. Pete offshore buoy, and you can take a peek at what we're seeing here. This weather's been changing a lot the last couple days, so I'm only really focused on really Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm kind of looking forward through the weekend, but you really can't trust this. This Wednesday, Thursday, Friday forecast has changed probably 24 times in the last couple hours. I mean, literally this morning it was totally different. So really don't even bother paying attention to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's pretty much useless. But today is Sunday, so I know the Monday forecast, the Tuesday forecasts are pretty accurate. Wednesday is still a chance stuff might change. Thursday, Friday is pretty much a toss-up this time of year. But what we're seeing here is Monday, we've got a little bit of a pressure gradient building into the area, so we're getting this southeast wind again, a little bit of a gust of wind. Tomorrow's going to be a little bumpy offshore. Nearshore, it's going to be beautiful for a half-day fishing trips tomorrow. But offshore, 3-foot seas, pretty bumpy to be going all the way out there. So those of you guys in the 20, 25, 30-foot boats, definitely be careful running 50 miles offshore tomorrow, because it's definitely going to kick up a little bit once the sun rises. That wind is going to start puffing a little bit more. So hopefully everybody stays safe on the last day of gag grouper season tomorrow. But then Tuesday is gorgeous, gorgeous weather Tuesday. Hardly any wind, some beautiful sea conditions. And then we have this front approaching, and that front is going to come through sometimes Thursday. You can see the wind clock around and come out of the north. And this morning it was saying all the wind and the weather was going to be happening early Thursday morning, and Friday was only 3 to 4 foot. You can see that has totally changed throughout the course of today, but very likely that will change again. So if you have a 39-hour booked this weekend, don't fret. It has been changing quite rapidly, so hopefully it'll change back to another gorgeous weekend. Here is the Nearshore forecast. Looks really good all week, even tomorrow. Monday, you saw before that it was about 3.5 foot offshore. Nearshore, it's just around 2.5 foot tomorrow. So it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Nearshore for the last day of gag grouper season. Tuesday is spectacular for our 10-hour all day, less than 2 foot seas. Wednesday is just flat calm, almost like a lake. Thursday, again, Thursday is going to be the toss-up day. What's going to happen with that cold front? When is that cold front going to get into the area? That's going to really be the determining factor for this weekend's weather. So definitely keep your eye on Thursday, Friday, but don't believe anything you read forecast-wise until at least Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, because this time of year, those cold fronts can change so drastically. It can be saying one thing one time and then something totally different just a few hours later. So definitely keeping our eye on the weekend weather, but not putting any weight behind that forecast until we get a little bit closer. So hopefully it's another great weekend for offshore fishing. Don't forget to comment where you're watching from, guys, and comment if you have any questions. If I don't get to your question in our hour show, I'll definitely get to it in the comment section. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too busy. Hopefully we'll see everybody soon at Hubbard's Marina. Don't forget about our upcoming Bass Pro Shop seminar, January 12th, 2 p.m. And hopefully we'll see you for one of our upcoming 39-hour fishing trips here at Hubbard's Marina. Tons of 39-hour trips and 44-hour trips coming up in 2019. 12-hour extreme trips, private charters. We do everything. So let's see what other questions we have here. Philip McIntosh said, what city is the marina in? Hubbard's Marina is inside Johns Pass in Madeira Beach, Florida, which is central west Florida, just west of Tampa Bay. So we're central west Florida, just west of Tampa Bay in Pinellas County, Johns Pass, Madeira Beach, and our name is Hubbard's Marina. I'm Captain Dylan Hubbard. I'm 4th generation owner-operator at Hubbard's Marina. My great-grandfather started fishing here in Central West Florida over 90 years and 4 generations ago. He started with 7 rowboats and 14 cane poles. And 90 years later, we're sitting here live on Facebook doing live Q&A fishing shows. So pretty wild, and feel really blessed to keep this thing going. And hopefully we will for generations to come. But let's see here what other questions we have. Not a lot of questions tonight, guys. You kind of let me down here. So hopefully someone other has some other questions here. And don't forget, this is every Sunday night. So if you don't have a question this week, hopefully you have a question next week for the next show. Let's see here. Jordan Bell said, how did the anglers trip with Rick do? Jordan Bell, you can ask Rick about it. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So for those of you who are listening, we'll tell this story. Anglers Bait and Tackle, Rick down there in north of Miami came up here, did a long ride up from Miami area to go fishing on the Flying Hub 1 and get some gag grouper. We were fishing right ahead of a front, which is great fishing opportunities ahead of those fronts. That bite is hot and those fish just chew like crazy. Unfortunately, that weather that was forecasted to come in that night came in a lot earlier than expected, and all of a sudden the Flying Hub 1, which is a very fast, very efficient long-range boat that is able to do a deep drop trip in 15 hours or get you 90, 80, 100 miles from shore very efficiently at a very low cost compared to the Flying Hub 2. Flying Hub 2 we literally charge double for because of how much fuel it burns. The Flying Hub 1, you can do long range trips for pennies on the dollar, and it's a great boat, but it is very, very weather sensitive. Anything more than about a 2.5 foot sea gets a little bit uncomfortable. Anything more than a 4 foot sea gets a little dicey. When you start seeing 7 foot seas, if you don't know what you're doing, it can be deadly, because it's a very, very low to the water center console boat, unlike anything we offer. Very similar to like an Intrepid or a Scarab or some of the other long center consoles that are super narrow and built for speed. So it can be dangerous if you're in a center console like that in high sea conditions. So what happened on this day with Rick is they were out there fishing ahead of a front. The front blew in, and then all of a sudden it went from flat calm to about 6 to 8 foot seas like that. And all of a sudden you're 60, 70 miles from shore, and you got 6, 7 foot seas that if you make a wrong turn, you could be in serious danger. So slow ride in, you have to match the speed of the swell, and they just putzed home, matching the speed of the swell and keeping that boat safe, keeping all the crew and customers safe. And they were cold, they were wet, and they were beat up, but they came home. They had a couple nice grouper, and we made it right with the clients, and they're going to be booking again here soon. But that was a trip they won't soon forget for sure. So hopefully that answers your question there about Rick's trip. Great question from Captain Steve Pappin, even though he's trying to make it sound like he's from Georgia, about hogfish. A lot of people are out there catching hogfish right now, and they don't realize how to measure a hogfish. So we're going to go up to my FWC, and we're going to show you guys something to make sure everybody's on the same page. I see it all the time. Even charter captains are doing this wrong. So definitely want to try to spread the word here. Thanks for bringing it up again, Captain Steve Pappin. So this is how you measure a hogfish. It is fork length, not overall. So what that means is these little long wispy things on a hogfish don't count. You can't pinch the tail, and once you pinch the tail, turn a 12-inch hogfish into a 14-inch hogfish. No, you have to lay that hogfish down, and if that fork of the tail is not 14 inches from the mouth, very tip of the nose to that fork, unadulterated fork, not pinched, if it's not 14 inches, it's got to go back. And that new 14-inch, again, this is the Gulf State waters, so 14-inch fork length. 5 per harvester, open year round. Now, FWC does not control federal waters, but in this case, that is the federal regulations they're showing. And I knew it would be easy to find it here. That's why we pulled up FWC. Otherwise, we'd look up the Gulf Council, because that's who controls federal waters. But really important, everybody needs to know that it's fork length for hogfish, not overall. So often I'll see charter captains posting photos of hogfish that are easily identifiable as undersized and too short. A lot of times private recreational anglers, everybody is guilty of not being familiar with that fork length, not overall length. Because for a grouper, for example, you can pinch the tail on a grouper and make it a little bit longer. Those hogfish, you can't do that. And you can't count those little whiffs on the tail. You got to count the fork, which is the very center of that back tail. So make sure you're familiar with how to measure a hogfish if you're going out there for them. So I think we covered just about a majority of the questions here, guys. We've got a ton of information out there tonight. And Sean Kelly, we are waiting on Bull Bay rods. Those new Bull Bay rods were supposed to be here back before Christmas, and they didn't make it here. Unfortunately, those guys are super busy with tons of Christmas orders, and they're really struggling to produce our order. But that's a good problem. That's because Bull Bay is so highly sought after, and it's such a good rod. It takes a while for them to hand make all those rods, but we're very excited for our Bull Bay rod order to come in, and we'll be doing a video as soon as we get them to announce that the Bull Bay Hubbard's Marina Custom hogfish, tarpon, grouper, snapper, all those rods are in. We're going to have a line of 6 different kinds of offshore fishing, spinning rods and conventional rods by Bull Bay Rods over there in Lakeland, family owned and operated, and they're making some really cool custom rods for our Hubbard's Marina shop and our higher end private charter clients. So we're looking forward to that. Stay tuned, guys. Don't forget, January 12th, 2 p.m., Bass Pro Shops. You can win some free fishing trips. Don't forget, next Sunday, 8:30 p.m., same bad channel, same bad host. And hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and don't forget to comment your questions. Even though I'm going to stop the video now, guys, you can always comment your question. I'm going to go back through and answer your questions via the comment boxes, guys. So hopefully you all had a good show. You enjoyed the show tonight, and hopefully you had a good week this week, and hopefully have a good week coming up. We'll see you next Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.